Howdy folks, welcome to the Lawrence Jameson Show, the Warhammer 40,000 Summer League Week 1 edition. So, as some of y'all know, I've been a big fan of what they now call narrative play since I first become a dungeon master back in New Year's Eve of 1979. But I do love competitive play as well. And as everybody knows, I'm a daggum gunslinger. When I go into one of them games workshop stores or one of them gaming halls, they know it's serious. And they know some people's fitting to get their tail whipped probably. Unless I'm rolling ones, which that can be any and all the times. But I decided recently, since the drop of this here brand new Warhammer, that I'm going to get in this, I'm going to play narrative games and everything here at home, and I've had a couple of them, But I ain't had no competitive games of this 8th edition, so I joined up with a league. And it's supposedly an escalation type league, but here's the catch. It's a PowerPoints league. And you got to have a list at 30 points, 40 points, 50 points, and it's going to go on up. But I played one at 50 points this week for the first match. Now, there is a lot of room up in there for abuse, or whatever you might want to call it, of PowerPoints. Within certain units. Certain units you can max them out with their, once you max them out, if you have, what it is this. The more war gear options that they have, the more potential that you could skew the balance of the game. And, but if everybody's playing on that same playing field, in this league, of course, you can just try to squeeze all the cheese you can out of them lists, and so that's part of the fun of it as well. But they're touting this as well as like a beginners can join in. Won't tell you this. Beginners trot out some of them daggum Primaris's on me. Alright? Beginners is probably gonna get drug in this league. But that's the way you learn sometimes. That's the way sometimes you need to learn these dadgum games. I remember back in 1989. I believe it was 89, or it might have been the first part of 1990. It was whenever I got into this here Warhammer 40K. And the fella that was doing it, he got me, man. My very first game, I faced a 10-man squad of Marines, and every one of them had a distortion cannon and vortex grenades. Alright? I had daggum bolters. Alright? It lasted a turn and a half. So, if that. But it was my introduction and my lesson to a cheese list. Okay, and that was a rogue trader. That's as cheese as you could just get. But anyway, that was my introduction to the game. I probably should have quit right then and there. But, anyway, I done joined up with this league here in the summer of 2017. It's done there at Meeple Madness. And the first fella that I was scheduled to play, I believe he had, the way he was talking on the internet, I believe it was Necrons. And as some of y'all know, I'm running Corn. I done pledged to the ruinous power of Corn. And I'm running a whole mess of Blood Reavers. A whole mess of these, Corn Berserkers. Led by the old Corn model. Which I'll have some things to say about him in that battle. You got a Demon Prince, I got several Terminators, I got all kind of tanks, and a few, Raptors and this and that, But first fella I was scheduled to play had some Necrons, and he got into a dang car accident. And so we're going to schedule that for next week, so I had to go in there against a Deathwatch army. And we went in at 50 points, power points. And like I said, this is a cutthroat league. and you gotta squeeze everything you got. And I thought I squeezed them a little out by throwing havoc launchers and on my rhinos and combi melters and all that stuff I was getting a little bit for free. But you know, these dang corn berserkers here, they ain't got too much war gear options. I mean, because they only got one thing they need to do, and that's get into close combat. Now, I lost this game in the very end, but at the end of turn 2, it looked like I was going to table that feller. I mean, I had wiped. You're gonna see. I took away 2 of his dreadnoughts like they wasn't even there, and I had a predator over there absorbing up all his firepower. But that was the thing that got me in a couple of mistakes, underestimating that Deathwatch kill team's firepower. That may be one of the most powerful units in the game, especially on PowerPoints. Because you got 4 fellers in there with frag cannons, all right, and ain't paying a point for them, and they suck it. And then you know most everybody in them bigger. You got a 10-man squad in there, a couple Terminators thrown in, bikes and things like that, all in one squad, and it gives them all. It's giving them all kind of dang buffs, having all this diversity up in them. And let me tell you what kind of diversity it gives them: firepower. They got all kind of dang special ammunitions and whatnot. And I took a dang beating on turn 4 through 6 and ended up losing the daggone game. And I'm going to tell you all about it. And what I done was, I ain't finished painting my minis, so I didn't go in and video in. And the fellow that I was playing against, he had a bunch of gray models and stuff and things, because he's in the middle. This is the first week of the paint, so I let it slide. I didn't take no video. What I done was take pictures. And I took a few pictures, and I'm going to go through these pictures and give an audio for them. And let y'all know what happened in this battle. And like I said, I went against a Deathwatch. He had a couple of daggum dreadnoughts, a bike team, and a super squad, and the Watchmaster Artemis and his stasis grenade, which you'll see in the video, I reckon. He faced down my Demon Prince. Anyway, I'm gonna get on to the photographs there, so y'all can look at them. So, and I'll come back at the end afterwards and give you a little goodbye. So check it out. All right, so the battle we was playing was pretty much a standard 4 objective match that was going to be decided by within 5 to 6, 7 turns, and whoever's going to be closest at them objectives at the end of the match was going to get points. And there was other little things thrown in, like killing the warlord, enemy warlord gets you a point. Drawing the first blood of killing a whole unit will get you a point. But this photograph here looks like it's about the end of my first movement phase. And I was starting over there on the left. I had come at him with a rhino, and inside that rhino was 9 Khorne berserkers and Karn the betrayer. And then a little bit to the right of them, I had a 5-man squad of raptors of the World Eaters Legion. And then I had a Demon Prince with wings from that same legion. And then moving over to the right, I had a Predator tank. Now, because I had only a few 4 units right there, I was able to set up first, and I believe he had 5 units he had to set up. So I got the first turn, and I moved out and then rapidly across the board there. As you see, about everything I had moved 12 from its get-go, and I was halfway across the board on the first turn. I took a couple of shots with that undamaged Predator that didn't do wholeheartedly a lot. I think we put over there 4 wounds on that one of them dreadnoughts, and then the Warp Bolter from the Demon Prince was able to shoot a wound over there onto that super squad he had of his Deathwatch kill team. So over there, starting from the left, he had a 3-man bike squad, and then them 2 vulnerable dreadnoughts, and then his kill team that was just maxed out to the max, and a Watchmaster Artemis. And so at the end of my first turn, all I had done was put them 4 wounds on there, and just put a wound on his super squad, and that was about it, and I was halfway across the board. Now when it come time for his first turn, he unloaded the scunion of that daggum Deathwatch kill team and cyclone missile launchers and frag cannons, of course, and he blasted that daggum Predator down to 1 wound, as you'll see in this picture right here. That Predator was sitting there after the first turn of fire, and it had been knocked all the way down to 1. And that greatly reduced his capabilities, of course, because he made it to the next round. He got to shoot in this next coming round, but he only was hitting on 5s and such. And of course, with my rolling, that's not good. And he had been reduced so much he couldn't hardly move. And so he was just going to try to sit there and get off one more blast and take out one of them dreadnoughts. I believe on his second turn he was able to finish off one of them dreadnoughts. Now this picture here is looking over from the left side of the board from my way, and it looks like it has been the end of my turn 2, because I ate a bike squad with those corn berserkers. I dismounted them from that rhino, moved that rhino up a little bit so I could get a shot over there at that kill team, and them dang corn berserkers, they're something serious in hand-to-hand combat. And that Death to the False Emperor is a pretty good thing too. I had many rolls where I had come up with a 6 and got an extra attack that hit. And then of course you got Karn the Betrayer here, and why he's already suffered wounds is on the approach to take out them bikes. He shot his plasma pistol, which is always firing on full blast, and it caused him a mortal wound when I rolled a 1, of course. So at this point right here is where I lost the game. Because right on up here on the other side of that red building there, my Demon Prince has charged that dreadnought, the remaining live dreadnought, and he will put him down in the next turn, I believe, in the next photograph and all. But here's where I lost the game. I should have piled on the next turn, my turn 3. I should have piled them corn berserkers back into that rhino, and instead what I done was thinking Age of Sigmar wise, and I thought I could get to that kill team. But what they done, as you're gonna see, is they put distance between me and them and just unloaded on me and just raked me till I was gone, and I couldn't get out of them. I come within a charge roll of 9 on turn 3 to get to them, and I rolled a 3 and a 4. And I used one of my final command point that I believe I had used to try to re-roll that and to get that daggum 9, man. And I just could not get to them. And they got shot to pieces on the next turn. But this is where I lost the game. If I just piled back in that rhino, I believe I'd have won the game, because I could have run straight across the board. Yeah, they'd have hit that rhino pretty hard, but then that would have been them not shooting other things, as you'll see in the next picture. Now here's a picture right here is where that Demon Prince was going head to head with that daggum dreadnought that he had. And the Demon Prince was able to finish that dreadnought off with that sword, which I believe is doing 3 wounds at a swipe. And it just really took him off at that old dreadnought there, even with all his saving throws and stuff. He couldn't keep up with it. So it took him down. And as you'll see, the positioning of his super squad, his death kill team there, is going to become very important. Now, I want you to notice how far away my Demon Prince is from his kill team bike, because I put a whomping on this dreadnought right there and there in the next few seconds on the die roll. That dreadnought's dead, and then I get a 3-inch consolidation move, which is going to put me up to right here, and you're going to see where. Now, here's where it gets into a little bit of a contention. Now, my model, it says I had to stay an inch away from these guys. So I make my consolidation move, and so am I 1 inch away, or am I 1 inch and a millimeter away? Because it really becomes important, because if I'm within 1 inch of them, they got to pull some kind of disengage move. And if I'm not within 1 inch of them, they're free to move however they want it. Now, talking with the gurus and the folks that was hanging around the table and such, and the people that running the store there, they is all agreeing that you cannot lock that unit down there with a roll in close combat, which is what this basically is. And when I took a consolidation move, I cannot move into to lock into another unit there. So I'm going to look further on into that. But it was determined that he couldn't lock them down. And there was another point right there where the game, big thing was decided on this game. Because if he hadn't locked them down, they would have had to take a penalties. And you're going to see what would have happened. Now, on their turn 3, what they done was this. Just out of the picture in the right, his kill team retreated into the corner of that board. And his Watchmaster, Artemis, came out within range to throw a dadgum stasis grenade upon my Demon Prince, who was unwounded until that grenade hit him. And as you see in this picture, he's got 1 wound left. That means that grenade has already done hit him. And as soon as Artemis hit him with that grenade, they unloaded the rest of that kill team on him because he couldn't withstand it. I believe his 2 Cyclones finished off the Predator right then. And then the rest of his kill team and them frag cannons just hit that Demon Prince so much he couldn't withstand it, and he was gone. Now, like I had said before, Acorn Berserkers was on foot trying to get to this kill team and could not get to him and got left hanging in the wind, completely got their tail shot all the way off. And right before this happened right here, Karn had just killed his own man. All that made it to this captain here, this Watchmaster, was Karn and the champion from that Berserker squad, that champion. And Karn killed the dadgum champion during his close combats by rolling 1s. And of course, Karn ended up killing the Watchmaster after a little bit. But then, you're going to see what happened. He killed the Watchmaster. And now in this picture, you can see just how ugly it got. Because they unloaded on Karn. And he survived the shooting round. Down to 1 wound left. And then they charged him. And if you see in this picture, they need about a 7 to get to him. I believe that's what the number was. And he didn't roll it, but he had 1 command point left. And dadgummit, if he did not use it to roll a 4 to match up with the 3 that he done had, get that 7, get the whole squad in there, they could get in close combat with Karn, and then they all piled in, and it was just too many people. With 1 wound left on Karn, he couldn't do anything, because he's got to be the initiator of the close combat. That's all that left me was that Rhino. And then that was it, man. That was it. The Rhino, I couldn't hold no positions. It was the end of turn 5 right there. We was rolling to try to end the game. Game didn't end. It went on to turn 6, and I retreated the Rhino. It was just a case of, all right, I might could kill a few of his people, but within 2 turns, the Rhino was going down. And he had the point. He had me by points. And like I said, I lost the game by not thinking about points and just different strategic moves. It's pretty rare I lose a game on my own strategies, which is kind of funny, but because I lose a lot on dice rolls, and I think my strategies is pretty fair most of the time. But in this one, my strategies was just way out there. And I'm gonna chalk it up to being the first game of 8th edition. So, well. That's the long and the short of it for you. The good news is I got 2 more games tomorrow. One of them at noon is a competition match in that same daggum league. And then I got another one at 6 o'clock at night over here at my place. It's a narrative game. And I believe that is going to be against some Imperial Space Marines. Ultramarines, I believe. But I ain't gonna tailor no list. But I believe it's gonna be Ultramarines. So I'll get y'all updated on them too. When them happen. I'm gonna call that week 2 and all. Because it's, starting a week 2 of this league. So anyway, check out the rest of my channel. Subscribe if you can. Watch my other videos. And we'll see y'all next time on the week 2 update.